not just something that can be, put in the stock market or put in a retirement account somewhere. These real estate investments provide very good opportunities for you and your family to safely put this money somewhere where the money will work for you. It's literally the saying, making money while you sleep. And tonight we're going to share some of those key elements as far as how you yourself can do it. Even though you're not experienced in the real estate realm or you've never been in the game of investing in real estate, we're here to answer any questions that you may have. And at the end of this presentation, we will share contact information for you to get in touch with us in case you need any further guidance. We're more than happy to do it. So we're here tonight. We are, helping you guys, college administrators, prepare for retirement. With rising inflation and interest rates rising as well, you will understand the power of saving your money and putting it to work in income producing assets that can protect your savings and also grow your wealth. So the number one problem that we're facing is inflation. As many of you all know, interest rates, they've actually lowered over the past month. However, rising inflation is always going to be something that our savings are going to be battling. Therefore, if you put your savings, in a retirement account that's not giving you as high of a percentage or return on your investment, or, you're just having it in a savings account sitting there with a 2%, 3%, at the most 4%, that's still, you're getting some cash in there, but it's not as much. We want to potentialize all that money that you have saved. So remember that your retirement goals as educators and administrators is that you've worked hard and you've put in your hours. Now it's time to secure your future with smart investments. And many people will ask me, Mariana, well, how can I secure my investments? Well, we have the answer for you. Legacy Investors was founded to help people like you diversify their portfolio and invest in value-driven, income-producing, and low-risk assets supported by the economy. As many of you know, the Valley is experiencing one of its largest booms in history with the overcoming of Elon Musk, with Tesla, with opening up of more ports for shipyards, with the import-export industry, with the medical industry that's also expanding here as we just got done opening our Driscoll Hospital. So there's very many industries coming to the Valley. Agriculture has been in the Valley for many, many years. And now with that, real estate is experiencing its biggest boom in history. We are building and building and building, and all these homes are selling and selling and selling. So you as well want to be part of this history that we're making. You don't want to be left out. Our mission is to specialize in providing investment opportunities in real estate with a focus on building financial security for retirees. We've got the team at hand to help you with any questions. At the end, again, we will hold the Q&A. If you want to ask us directly how you can achieve this, just either send us an email or send us a direct message so we can get more in depth as to how you can specifically divert any sort of assets. And if you have any questions on how to manage these, we're very highly experienced in property management as well. Therefore, we can provide you with the right assistance when it comes to consulting and how to do this, how to develop the right strategy. But today we're just here to talk about truly why real estate and why is real estate something that must be at the top of your head when it comes to where to put your money. Real estate is a very tangible asset. It's something that you can walk up and have a key to and turn the key and open the door and you will be, in this tangible physical asset. Real estate is a physical asset that typically appreciates over time, meaning this asset, if you buy it at whatever percentage you buy it from the bank, right? Some people say, well, the interests are high and we're going to wait for the interest to go down. No matter truly at what interest you buy, the asset is always going to appreciate. It's one of the top, assets that investors and high net worth individuals always invest in. Why? Because of the appreciation. The appreciation is constantly there. That is why it's one of the most reliable assets to put it in, as opposed to perhaps the stock market that might fluctuate over time, increase and decrease. Generally we see an inverse, reciprocal inverse appreciation when it comes to the real estate. Whenever real estate is going up, the stock market is going down, and those are things that we typically advise. All doctors, lawyers, nurses, people like you as well, administrators or students even that are barely getting started in this, is to put your savings, somewhere where you can actually physically see the outcome of your hard work, right? Income producing. You earn passive income. How? From rent. These rents are going to be, whenever prices rise or inflation goes up, people will always try and move out of their homes to a cheaper home, right? A more affordable home. So if somebody's paying for a mansion, where might they go? Well, to a smaller house, 2, 3 bedroom. If they're in a little medium-sized house, where might they go? Well, perhaps to apartments, right? Or, rent a large apartment that fits the whole family. But usually you get this like scaling down. It's like a pyramid, right? You get the highest value people at the top, and so it's a very high income, low pool of renters. And then as you go down the tiers, it increases in the pool of renters and the rents go down. And so that's why you want to see where your budget allows for these sorts of investments. You always want to start small. You always want to start renting a little home that's 800, 900, 1,000, 1,200. You might want to leave the $3,000 homes, the $4,000 homes for more experienced real estate investors, as those aren't as income producing, right? The value of your investment grows with improvements to the property as the market appreciates. So as long as you're taking care of this investment that you've made, you make the right repairs, you put the right tenants in the home, you will see that the value of your property is going to increment. And that is something that is not guaranteed, because nothing in life is guaranteed, but we strongly, stand by that, is that the appreciation and the value of these properties are going to go up. ¿Quieres agregar algo en este punto? Puedes agregarlo en español y te traduzco.
Ok. Sí, sobre todo eso es muy importante, que no importa en el momento que ustedes compran algo, la tasa de interés a la que van a comprar, no la van a pagar ustedes, la van a pagar los renteros, si quieren verlo de esa forma, ¿verdad?
She's mentioning a very key point, is that the interest rate at which you get this loan or etc. to buy this property is not going to be paid out of your pocket. It's being paid by the renters that you put, the tenants that you put inside these homes. So that's something very important to remember. Why is it income producing? Because tenants are in there paying that amount of the loan to the bank while you still have a bit of reciprocal, leftover income coming your way. And as you pay off this loan, in 15, 25, 30 years, depending on the loan that you obtained and how much you're putting towards the principal, after a few years, that entire rental income is going to be all yours, none towards the bank. Of course, you got to save some for taxes, but as long as you got good budgeting on your side and good accountability. How do you build a business off of this? Well, first of all, point number one is to save, invest, and enjoy your returns. You have to plan for your future. I know many of you might be already on the 35, 45, 55 plus and about to retire or close to retiring. And then there's some of us that are sort of in my generation, we're in the younger 30s, 40s, getting there, but it's never too late to start investing. We offer the opportunity to convert your savings into something that grows steadily and provides a reliable income. So first of all is budgeting, right? That's, we got to have the right mindset. I'm going to save, I want to invest, and I'm going to enjoy and live off my returns. That's step number one. Step number two, you got to think that this is more than just a property. You're creating impact within the community. Investing in real estate is not just about blocks and woods and a roof. It's providing families with homes and creating a positive community impact. Is the number one reason as to why you should invest, is to think, well, what's my motivation behind putting all this money aside and creating this opportunity for myself, for my family, and for my community as well. Step number three is the value of real estate. So you got to think about locations and growing areas in South Texas that will provide excellent investment opportunities. If you were to ask me, would I invest in the McAllen region, the Edinburg region, I would have to closely take a look at those regions, since they are already booming and experiencing this expansion. If you told me maybe perhaps about areas like Westlake or Mercedes, then I would tell you it's a really good thing to consider, because it's areas that are starting to get an influx of investments. See, so you got to catch the market and the influx of investments at a very good, low so you can get on that wave, right? You got to catch the wave. If you are investing a little bit afterwards, then you're already flooded with other businesses that are very similar or in competition with what you're trying to accomplish here. Also, you got to think about the size of the residence. The more doors or the more units you have under your investment, the better. So, for example, if you have a single family home that you could rent for $1,500, why not think about having a fourplex or a multifamily complex that offers 2 or more doors so that you can get 3 times that income, which would be 1,200 to 1,500, depending on the size of your units, times 4, right? Or times as many doors as you may have. And it requires the same amount of work. That's what it all boils down to. If you bank, going through the banks and signing the loans and the closing costs and, paying the brokers, it's all the same transaction. So why not, envision something a little bit larger, but that's going to give you that residual income in the end for the same amount of work and the same amount of time that you've put in. The interior designs, also updated and modern designs, increase the rental rates and the resale value of your property. If you put a lot of care and attention into what goes inside of your home without you truly spending too much on the inside of your home, you always got to think about how this is just going to be for renting, not for you yourself living in there, right? So that's something that we always advise our clients or people that are investing, is that they must think about, this is a rental property. You're not going to live in it, so try and put as much care and value into the home, and yes, the finishes and the cabinetry, and if you want to furnish it in a way that's homey, but not overspending to the point where you're exceeding your budget, because again, this is a rental property. People are going to be living in it, at the end of the day, it's a business. It's not your personal home, right? Occupancy rates. The more units occupied, the higher the returns. Again, going back to how you manage this property, the more tenants that you're putting in there constantly, if one exits and you're quick to put another one in, then your returns are going to still be intact. That's why you want to work with good property management companies that have your back, and they're always alert whenever there's a vacancy. They're quick to put another tenant within this property. And point number 4, the time value of money. When you invest in real estate, returns grow over time through property appreciation and rental income. Invest now and you'll benefit from compounding returns as property values increase. Again, we've gone over this. The interest rate that you purchase at is not what's important. What's important is that the time that you enter, and the sooner the better. That's what I've always said to everybody, is it's never too late to invest in real estate. And you can do this through, again, a 401k or an IRA account, or even cash that you've got saved up, or taking out a loan with the right bank at the right interest rate, of course, if that's what you're looking for. But you always got to build these relationships. It's about who you know, not what you know. Okay, so getting to know the right people and building the right team that will help you put together a deal that works for you and your needs and the returns that you may want to have and the amount of money you're able to invest, it's never too late.